call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call vote, Harold Lemos.
Here.
Lee Sharps.
Here.
Casey Barney.
Here.
Fran Newton here. Tasha Singh was unable to make it tonight. We'll start with public comments. I think, Jeanette, you were on the list.
Yeah, but I'm going to wait
Till the end?
Till the end.
Okay. Rather than go through the approvals at this point, we do have guests tonight, and so that they don't have to sit here through our lovely meeting, and you're welcome to, but you're also free to go as soon as you do this presentation. So we have Jerry Zoller.
Yes.
From the New Hampshire Department of Engineer, who's going to discuss the painting project on the Collins Street Bridge.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to come here and to present. And the purpose of any DOT project and the public informational meeting is to present the project for your understanding and information, and also to receive back any comments, feedback, etc. And so in a word, the department is, we're doing a couple bridge painting projects starting on Interstate 93, starting at exit 19, and this first batch goes up through almost to exit 24 here, to Collins Street. And so there are 13 bridges in this package. There are two contracts, and so what I call Bundle 1 and Bundle 2. So we're at the northern end of Bundle 2. So in my various comments, if you should see written down any reference to bundling, that's what I'm talking about. So we're into Bundle 2. And so there are 6 sites of pairs, northbound, southbound, and then there's one overpass. Now, we're not painting all the bridges in that stretch, but we're painting the ones that we consider in the worst condition at the moment. So that's kind of the big picture. I have also with me consultant Tim Lemire in the back, who's assisting, but which I appreciate all the help that he's been along the way here. So in a word, I'm going to sort of skim through and go over this fact sheet that you have in front of you and look at a few photos and stuff. But the big picture is that the bridge needs painting, obviously. The existing paint on the bridge and all of these bridges is lead-bearing paint. And so when we remove the paint, it has to be done carefully to protect the environment and the public and so forth. So every one of these bridges is the same in that regard. In this fact sheet that I handed out, it's written to apply to all 13 bridges. So it has other references to other sites in there. But because every one of these bridge sites is really not suitable, or there isn't a staging area directly at the bridge for the contractor to set his equipment, we have to give him a work zone lane closure out of which to work. So all of these locations are over a local road, and so we're going to give them a lane from the local road for the duration of the project, which is relatively short, 4 to 5 weeks to do a pair. And they will have a lane closure, and we'll talk about the traffic here in a moment. That's usually what people are most interested in. But the other thing here on the time frame is we're advertising the project a month from now on September 12th, and the bids will come in October. And then the work we anticipate will mostly be next year. Okay. So you might say, well, what's kind of involved here? So I have a few photos, and they're also included in some of the packets, and some of the photos are small. But when the bridge painter, I'll refer to this photo right here, which might be hard to see, but the painter has a number of pieces of equipment that he needs in order to do this particular work. Obviously, he has to come in and set up this. All the work will be within a airtight enclosure, or containment, we call it. And he has, for his equipment, he has the blast unit, which in this case is this big blue unit here, or in this photo, it's this big blue unit here, which that he blasts the bridge. And then he has a dust collector that he'll the negative pressure for the enclosure, which is the dust collector, which is the other big blue unit, and then he has compressors that go with that, and then a box truck with all of his paint and equipment and lines and all that sort of thing. So when you add up all the pieces of equipment, it basically comes out to around 200 feet of a train of equipment. So that's why we need this lane closure for him to spread out. Okay, it's, okay, so I guess I should show you at the back page, those of you that have multiple pages here. I should also point out that we're talking about Collins Street, which is obvious, and you folks are familiar with Collins Street. If you go to the last page, to a document that looks like this, which I have a copy of in here, but I forgot to put it out. Okay. Sorry for being so coordinated. Okay, Collins Street. So it looks like this. You'll notice the Collins Street, and then to the left over the river, this red thing, and then also over the embankment. Well, the red thing refers to this suspended platform, which I think is also on the fact sheet. And so what they do is they actually build the floor, and it's suspended from the beams, and then they have the enclosure on the sides, the tarps. And then over the roadway, for many locations, they have what's called a rapid deployment unit, which we have a picture of it here. And you'll recognize this site here. It's right here at exit 24 from 2010. But what that does, the unit drives in, they lift it up, the sides fold out to give them a larger work area, and then at the end of the work, they're able to drive away. So for many of the bridges on these two bundles, we have the rapid deployment unit. Okay. This is another picture of, well, this was also in your fact sheet, I believe, from exit 24. So in terms of controlling the traffic, or I should say, controlling the traffic, we'll have, in some cases we have flaggers, like down at exit 19, and in some cases we will allow, because it's such a small volume of traffic, we'll allow the contractor to leave his equipment in place, and we'll have temporary signals to maintain the one-way alternating two-way traffic. So that's what we're proposing to do at Collins Street, because it's such a low volume location, but the sight distance obviously going around the horseshoe bend is unsuitable for line of sight. So we'll have the traffic signal set up there. Okay, so I'm illustrating all this, and I think you're getting the gist of it, but in terms of the signalization, which is being worked out by our Bureau of Traffic, they'll set it up somewhere on the bend here before you get to the transfer station side road, and somewhere over here. So I know that the vehicles that go by there are large septic trucks, etc., and our equipment's large too. So it's going to be a tight squeeze, but I'm confident they can make it work out, and I don't believe many other people use that road. So anyway, okay. So in terms of the impacts of traffic, there will be a lane closure. It will be set up 24/7 for the 4 to 5 weeks that it takes to do the two bridges. There'll be signals. It'll be set up in such a way as not to block the entrance to the transfer station roadway. Okay. Then I just have at the bottom here some just sort of standard things. The existing paint's lead paint, we're going to take it all off, 100% removal. We're going to put on new high-performance coatings that we've been putting up around on the state. The it's going to be dark brown will be the final color to match weathering steel bridges. We have a lot of in the state. And like I say, the high noise machinery will be limited 7 a.m. to 7, only during 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The contractors that we require do this sort of work all the time. They have to meet national standards for competence. And I think that's my fast run through. If there are any questions about the painting or whatever, yes, sir.
Do you know when the Collins Street Bridge is going to be done? Because we, in addition to the septic trucks, we are also going to have a major building project going on at the wastewater treatment facility next spring into the early summer.
Oh yeah, well, see, that's part of the feedback that I'm here to get. So in this, you're going to have a lot of construction going on here. Okay. And you already know the time frame on it?
Well, we don't know the time frame for sure. We're anticipating that we're going to be starting in April, hopefully in April or May. And I'm guessing it's going to take 3 to 4 months, would you say? At least. At least.
Okay, so all the construction is on the wastewater treatment plant facility, and so, but there will be traffic going back and forth. Would it interfere with our operation down here in the work zone, other than just going past, like the trucks, the septic trucks? You know what I'm saying?
There's going to be no construction taking place down in any of those areas, but you know, I'm guessing we're going to have big trucks in and out of there
Right.
frequently. And
It'd be of the same legal width as
Right.
normal, right? So theoretically, it shouldn't be a problem, other than the fact that just be a lot of activity going on.
right.
Okay, if there was a direct interference, we could write it into the contract but I can definitely make people aware of the concurrent construction going on. But like I said, I don't know what the contractor's schedule is going to be.
In the summertime, the truck volume in there can be 20 to 30 septic trucks per day.
Right. Yeah, I spoke to Mr. Cross about that earlier. So it sounds like they can make it happen as long as everybody stays out of each other's way, as long as the passage is, okay. Yes, ma'am.
How many bridges have you already done in New Hampshire that had the lead paint that you've taken off and repainted? And are we the last ones to get done, or are we kind of new in this project?
No, we've been doing this since 1992.
Oh, so we're one of the last ones to be done?
Well, no, there are a lot more to go.
Oh, okay. And that's been, since 92, you've been taking off the lead paint?
Correct. In other words, rephrase it differently. In 92 was when the environmental protection regs kicked in, and so we went from, not me personally, but the department, before that time, they would just blast and go. They'd just do the work, and wherever stuff landed, that's where it landed. But that's now old, obsolete technology. And in 92, all that changed, so it's all encapsulated, not encapsulated, it's all enclosed, contained, and there are very stringent OSHA worker protection regs. There are very stringent EPA environmental protection regs, as well as and at the same time, the whole painting industry upgraded to meet also VOC fume type regulations, and so everything basically changed in 92. But we've been painting bridges since 1992 with this newer. But there are a lot more. We have a lot more bundles both on 93 and other parts of the state. There are a lot of bridges that need painting. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
My concern is, and Dave probably knows more about it, but those septic trucks, some of those are really large. I mean, some of them are smaller, but some of them are really, really large. That would be my main concern, is are they going to be able to get through there?
Right, well,
As long as they're not 12
we
feet.
have to make sure that they can get through there. And our painting contractors and the equipment that we're talking about here, they're used to squeezing into tight spaces if they have to. And many locations that we've had, they have to really squeeze. But given that the pavement width it measures at least 18'6", theoretically, it was built per plan as 2 10-foot lanes. There is actually at least 20 feet there. Some of it's gravel on either side of it, but they'll make it work. They have to make it work. And so it's just a matter of scrunching up the equipment and where they place it around the corners and stuff. But yes, that is the main concern here, is just the actual room.
Harold?
Yes, sir.
Now, on your animation here, it says to remain. Is that for the duration of the project or
Yes.
inevitably the platform
No,
that's going to be
that's
suspended?
just illustrative to distinguish it from the mobile units
Okay.
in the roadway, the rapid deployment
Okay.
units.
My other concern was, I also sit on the Conservation Commission, and you were speaking about the containment of it. It does flow into a protected riverway and a wetland, so that's, Mrs. Loud is also on the Conservation Commission, and we're trying to make sure that our waterways are all protected and whatnot, you know.
Right, that's the whole idea of the containment.
Okay.
And you think of it like when they put what I call a fabric greenhouse or the containment enclosure up, and then they have this gigantic vacuum truck that sucks the air, so it makes the
It ionizes it.
sides cave in, so it's under negative pressure. So any small leaks or whatever, it draws things inward as opposed to going out. So it's
Wow.
very good as far as containing contaminants and so forth.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. I did leave the second item, which was the
The agreement?
the agreement for the work zone, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at it or whatever, but just send it in.
Yep.
If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me.
I'll just read the highlights for the public. There are 3 items on here that we're agreeing to. The department shall construct project number 41295, I-93 painting, Meredith, New Hampton, Ashland, to preserve the aforementioned bridges. The department will be responsible for the management and operation of the highway throughout the duration of the construction of the project. This includes authority to determine the most appropriate way to control traffic within the construction work zone limits of the project. And C, the department, as of April 1st, 2013, will only compensate for the use of police officers that have successfully completed an NHDOT-approved course on the safe and effective use of law enforcement in work zones. So he's asking us to sign this. Is there a consensus that this is acceptable? And if so, I will.
Yes. Yes.
It's me and 2 other selectmen, so there are.
And
Sounds
if you don't
good.
mind signing 3
Yeah.
originals.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
Do you have 3 there,
Thank
Fran?
you.
Send it with them, save a stamp.
Yeah.
Budget season.
Did you want to take the copies today, Jerry?
If you have them, yes.
They'll
Save
be
a stamp.
signed
They'll be signed right
momentarily.
here.
We just need to fill in the dates, I believe.
It's budget season, every little penny counts.
That's right. Save postage.
Harold, when you get it, would you just fill in the dates, please? And then we'll be all set. Okay, thanks again, Jerry. Good luck with the project. Moving on to the agenda, we have some minutes to approve. First is 7/24/2017. Are there any comments, corrections, additions?
I just had a comment, wondering about the speed bump on Levitt Hill, if we know anything about the bolts that were supposed to be coming in, or has it been repaired?
I do not know. Craig?
Yep, it's been repaired.
It's been repaired.
And so far, so good, it's staying down.
Okay, great, that's good to hear. Thank you,
We've
Craig.
been checking on it.
Okay.
It's all good so far.
Okay,
Any other comments?
thank you.
Selectman Civillingham wanted to know if the selectmen wanted to put the individual vote.
I think we should. I mean, you know, the public has a right to know who voted for what.
On which-
Well,
on
there's
On
several.
everyone, right.
Anything that's not 5-0.
Yeah.
For example, the CDBG, it says vote 4-1, and I believe Selectman Chivallingham voted against it. And I think that should be noted.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was one.
Sure.
Just add that.
The minutes,
Oh, yeah.
the minutes say 4-0-1, and I'm not sure what that meant.
Abstain.
But
It's an abstention.
But it's that, So one abstained?
Yeah.
4-0 to 1. Okay, that's an abstention. Got it, okay. And you should put in who abstained, and I believe it was Casey, you were out, you had missed a meeting? Is that,
Is that the one?
I don't remember.
We can just do it going
Okay,
forward.
all right, so, yeah, I would definitely recommend we include those votes. Any other comments?
No.
In that case, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of July 24th as to be amended.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
No second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next one is July 31st. That was a meeting we had in the morning at the town hall. Any comments?
I abstained because I wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't there either.
Oh, okay. Can we approve them? I guess the majority of the board is here that,
Yep.
I mean, was there. Motion to approve them?
I'll motion to approve these
I'll
minutes.
second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Abstain, no.
Yeah, so Harold and I were there, so the majority of the quorum was voted on that. Okay. And then in the evening, we had our July 31st meeting. We had a joint meeting with the Budget Committee. Any comments? Oh, and then we followed it by a meeting with, to discuss the Public Works Director
Yeah, the only thing.
position.
The only thing that I see, line 24, the Board of Selectmen and Budget Committee concluded their session. We didn't conclude our session, we left and they carried on.
Okay,
That's the only thing that I see.
Okay.
That's not correct.
yeah.
Therefore,
That's
you'd
right.
have to refer to their minutes for any elections or appointments that they made. during
Well,
that
you know, and
time.
that wouldn't be in our minutes, so
Yeah.
you can just simply
Okay.
say that the Board of Selectmen left the Budget Committee meeting, which continued on, or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, please put in who voted for what at the bottom. Anything else?
What is it, what's the TOTF attorney?
Trustee of the trust fund.
Shouldn't we
We
write that
probably
out?
should spell it out.
Yeah,
So on line
19.
19 on the second page, just put trustee of the trust fund and then put TOTF in parentheses, Wendy.
So I see.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes of July 31st as amended.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay. That's it. Now, the consent agenda, I believe they've all been signed. The general fund manifest is $231,626. Payroll manifest, $20,192. We also have a Parks and Rec purchase order for a new lawnmower for the town parks. Was that in the,
Yeah, it was in here.
it's in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it all get signed?
Yeah, it got
Okay,
signed.
good. And then there's a personnel action form, which is a pay increase for a police officer at the end of probationary period.
Yeah, I still need some signatures
You
for
want to
that.
pass that around, Charlie? We can sign that.
There's a few other things that we have to sign that we
Okay.
can do during selectmen's items if you
Okay,
want.
okay. So while we're signing that, are there any department head reports? No, okay. Old business. Certified Computer Solutions contract renewal.
Yep, they were willing to have a one-year renewal.
Okay,
Nice.
Which I
And-
gave copies to.
Yeah, and that's,
$7,605 for one
okay.
year.
And that's the only change we asked them for, right?
Yep,
Okay. So we can sign this?
yep.
Okay. We already approved it, so is there any further concern?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think you guys voted to approve it.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Oh, okay, then I'll
We
make a
wait.
motion to approve, because we were waiting on the
We
1 year.
waited to get
Okay, a
this.
motion to approve the contract as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, we'll sign that one.
It's not signed.
The second item is to finalize the interim DPW director hourly rate, and for those of you who don't know, Craig Moore is our interim director. I believe the job has been posted, and
Yep.
will be open until the end of August 31st. But Craig will be our go-to guy until then. Thank you, Craig.
What you need?
Well, I needed clarity as to
Mm-hmm.
the starting rate. We had discussed before having the rate based on the foreman rate. There's a range for that. There's a beginning and the end. I think someone else said, maybe we said $18.
I think we did say 18,
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
18.
18,
Okay.
18?
I
Yeah.
believe that was the salary of our last foreman.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was what we agreed to.
Okay. That PAF is in there then.
Okay. Any other old business?
No.
No? Okay. New business. We already had the DOT project engineer. Water and Sewer Commission would like to ask us a question. David, would you?
Yes, a couple of weeks ago, Vern Marion came to a commission meeting and offered to give the sewer line that runs from the campground to Washington Street, he offered to donate that to the town. The commissioners took a look at the as-built drawings, which were designed by engineers and approved by the PDS when it was installed. Rusty Cross went down and inspected the lines and the one existing pump station. The commissioners felt that accepting responsibility for the line would be a benefit to the Water and Sewer Commission and the town's people, especially the people who live on Front Ave and Winona Road. And so we voted to accept responsibility for the line pending approval from the town. So we are coming before you to present this idea to you.
And it is my understanding, Charlie, correct me if you found out anything different, that given that it has an intrinsic value, we need to hold a public hearing before accepting it. Is that correct?
I haven't heard anything except for monetary value.
Yeah. Can you guesstimate the monetary value of, I know there's a lot of lines in there.
Well, actually, Vern is going to have the value of the line assessed. When we talked about it at the Water and Sewer Commission, basically, if we were to put in a new line, the rule of thumb for construction of sewer lines is about $90 per foot. The line is 1,800 feet. So that would give you some idea of
17,000.
the value of the line would be. However, it is
Yeah.
it is 30 years old. The pumps are fairly new. I think the pumps are 3 years old.
Okay.
Something like
So
that.
it has a significant value.
So it does have a significant value to it.
Okay.
I will say that Vern offered to have his lawyer do all the legal work, to take a look at the rights of way and easements that, to make sure that those are all in place before the town would accept that.
Yeah. So Charlie, will you confirm that so we
Yeah.
can set a public hearing as
Yep.
soon as possible? Okay. And then we would vote on it at that time? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the info.
Okay. Repaving of the town office parking lot. I've been meeting with Kathleen and Sue McLeod and Katie Marr to discuss our volunteer day, and as you know, the project that we are working on is to pretty up the town hall. It needs a lot of TLC, including getting rid of weeds and getting tar off the jail and ultimately repainting the entryway and so forth. And we had discussed sealing the cracks on the driveway after we got rid of the weeds. And we had a conversation with Craig at that time, and he said the parking lot hasn't been redone in a lot of years, and it might be more effective and certainly would look a heck of a lot better if we just repave the whole thing. Craig, do you want to give us a little more data on that?
We could repave it or seal coat it.
Yeah, seal coat it, yeah.
Yeah, not pave it,
Yeah.
but seal coating it will, there's quite wide cracks in it right now.
Yeah.
So it's nothing that volunteers could get down there with a tub of that stuff you buy at
Yeah.
Ashland Lumber, so.
Yeah,
I had a quote done for the skating rink, this is on the fire department side, because we take care of the skating rink.
yeah,
Just an idea of that, the skating rink you'd see down the ballpark, and that was like, I think $1,500 to have that crack sealed and seal coated. We haven't
Okay.
done it yet,
yeah,
but that's, so maybe that is it's probably less than that.
Okay.
So you might need $1,000
Okay.
just to seal coat,
Yeah.
crack seal.
okay.
But if you want, I can start getting quotes for you.
So, it certainly would look a whole lot better than to have
Yeah.
black streaks on it, and with the
Yes.
cracks that come back and we're weeding again. So,
I hate that.
I would like to propose that we use some of our road money and have that thing seal coated.
Yes.
I think one
I
thing.
agree.
I agree as well, but I think one thing we need to take into consideration is the bottom 3 feet of the brickwork. It might be advantageous to
yeah.
put some, what do they call it, the oak tag paper there, whatnot, so it doesn't splash up
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
And they just built a nice PD in Plymouth, and we went up there, and all of their stuff has
Okay.
pavement on it. It's not gonna come off ever.
All right, duly noted. So, can we have a motion to go ahead and get some quotes on this?
I'm gonna make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of moving forward with this project, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so Craig, if you could come and next meeting and give us some prices,
Sure.
then we can vote, to approve the final amount, that would be
How many
fantastic.
quotes you want, 2 or 3? 2, 3?
Three, if you can get them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think-
fantastic.
I think we need to make sure that the minutes reflect that we're speaking of seal coating, whereas the agenda states paving.
Paving, yes,
Yes.
okay, thank you, Harold.
Good point.
Okay, any other new business? Okay, select board items. As you all know, budget season is coming up, and for those of us who've been on the board previous to this year, you'll also know that we put in a lot of extra time and meetings. We don't have a lot of time to review this. We need to meet with each department head as they prepare their budgets and come up with a review so that when it goes to the budget committee, it's our budget that they can then discuss. So I think we need to start looking at dates and come up with a schedule. I believe the Budget Committee is looking to get this, if possible, by the end of August, which doesn't give us very much time at all. So I'd like your thoughts. Casey, I know it's hard for you to meet mornings.
Yeah.
But we could meet, occasionally, either before a select board meeting and then other evenings, whatever's possible. As
think
you know,
you're-
I'm usually available Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rarely Thursday, but,
I think that in retrospective, being shorthanded on DPW, that should be one that we should do prior to a select board meeting, so we're not taking an extra set of hands away from the workforce
Okay.
during the workday.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Is there anything any restrictions as to time you can't come? I mean, as I said, I'm never available on Thursday evenings. I can do Wednesday evenings if I had to, so,
I don't have them.
no.
I just have fourth Wednesday of the month.
So
as
Charlie, why
conservation.
don't we just have a list? Have you gotten a schedule from the department heads when their budgets are ready at this point?
Most of them are ready,
Most of them are ready, well, that's good.
so I've been told.
So can we take a
And
look
I've-
at a calendar and at least set
I
up the
mean,
next
The
one?
21st, we have the public hearings,
Yeah.
next board meeting. So you're probably
Guess
looking
that's-
at 14th, 15th, or 16th.
Okay,
14th in the evening, I have 4th of July committee.
what
Yeah.
time?
Oh,
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay.
But, the meeting will probably not go for very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like it to be done at 7.
Okay,
Well, I wanna go to
That's
that
good.
too
That's the
also.
chair's hope.
yeah, okay, well, I think we need to take it, we'll get as much done on each date as we can. So Charlie, if you could just send
So we
those
have
dates out,
Tuesday or Wednesday evening?
either are fine with me.
Wednesday?
I think we should do Tuesday and then
Okay.
maybe
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
All right. The
Um,
15th?
The 15th?
Yeah,
Yep, okay.
Is that?
Tuesday. That's a Tuesday.
So I would say 6 o'clock, because that's when Casey can be back in town. And Harold, on the, if you have a 4th of July committee, you can come when it's over. I'm sure
That's the
we'll
day
still be
before.
talking. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Well,
we're going for that.
let's start with that and see how far we get.
Yeah.
And then we can agree at those meetings what our next date is,
Okay,
okay?
sure.
All right. There's a Department of Revenue PA-28 form, the BOS to vote and sign on the use of the form.
Yeah, we received this form from DRA.
Okay.
Basically, the town hasn't used this form for over 20 years. It would require us to send it to every resident and have them send it back.
And every year we vote to not sign it.
Yeah.
For all of those reasons.
So I just need a formal vote that the board does not want to use it, and I think there's one more that needs to sign it in the signature file.
Okay. Any comments? Motion to not sign?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? It's nothing we're required to do.
No.
It's just something they like, and it becomes a big hassle, and I think for very little value, so.
Yeah, and if people don't send it back, I was told they could be penalized.
Yeah.
So we don't want to penalize
No,
them.
we just don't want to go there. It's just not necessary. Okay, all those in favor of not signing, once again, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, next we have a citizen inquiry form. And this is from Teja Singha Shivalingam. I will read it. I submit this petition for redress as a private citizen and resident and speak solely for myself and no other. The New Hampshire Constitution Bill of Rights reads in part, quote, "But no part of a man's property shall be taken from him or applied to public uses without his consent or of the representative body of the people," unquote, Article 12. The United States Constitution Bill of Rights reads in part, quote, "Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation," end quote, Amendment 5. I am concerned that the long-standing displacement of water at the lower portion of Smith Hill Road onto the private property of residents has in essence taken and applied private property for public uses. That is to say, I am concerned private property has become a public use watercourse for the purpose of diverting water that should otherwise be managed on public property. Further, I am concerned that if this is true, that the property owners have not been justly compensated. As, quote, "This Constitution shall be the supreme law of the land," unquote, Article 6, the U.S. Constitution, it may be reasonable to assert that regardless of the restrictions of state law, such as the, quote, "no means no," unquote, statute, the town of Ashland has a constitutional mandate to grant relief of a potential civil rights infringement. Such consideration is for the general good, because if one citizen's rights are imposed upon without discussion, then those of others might be as well. In summary, I would like to know, colon, 1, has the town of Ashland taken and applied private property for public uses? If not, please substantiate. 2, if the town of Ashland has taken private property for public uses, has it offered due process? If so, please substantiate. 3, if the town of Ashland has taken and applied private property for public uses and has done so with due process, has the town also offered just compensation to the owners? If so, please substantiate. Thank you for your prompt attention in this matter. Sincerely, Teja Singha Shivalingam. Now, I spoke with Patsy because she is the town clerk tax collector and she has history, and there was one such incident of property for public uses, but it wasn't taking, it was purchasing from Carol Currier, and she was paid for that property, for the wellhead. She knew of no others, and as I'm sure you can understand, it's not easy, not even possible to substantiate a negative. Charlie, I believe you checked with NHMA on his contention that this is taking the property.
NHMA told me that diverting water isn't or doesn't constitute as a taken of property,
Okay.
which someone could be compensated for.
So does the board have any other comments?
Interesting.
Any comments? Okay, then that is that for the time being. Okay, any other select board items? Seeing none, I will open it up for public comment. Jeanette, I believe you have one?
I just wanted to ask a couple questions.
Sure.
One of them is on the agenda for tonight. When we're talking about the lawnmower, you didn't say how much the lawnmower is going to cost.
Oh,
It's in there. I think it was
It's in there.
$3,000.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it
yeah.
was.
It's a zero
I'm sorry,
turn
thank you for
lawnmower.
that, Jeanette.
Thank you. The other thing, when I had come to the selectmen meeting, I had said that as a taxpayer, I feel we should be able to ask questions and necessarily shouldn't have to be on the agenda. And
And we have talked about it, and I think our concern is that they can kind of go off the rails. So our general guidance is if you have a concern, as I've just read from a concerned citizen, submit it in writing, and we'd be more than happy to address it. If you have a question, like you just did on the lawnmower, I'm certainly going to allow that.
well, because that was on the agenda.
It was, but if you have come across something and you're just asking a question, I will certainly allow that kind of leeway at the end. But we just request that any concern, complaint, et cetera, is submitted in writing, because it's really not fair to the board to kind of be bombarded with these kinds of complaints when we have gotten no prior notice. We can't be prepared for that. So I think that's kind of the compromise we came up with.
Okay, I have another question. It's kind of, it's on the agenda where it says scheduled 2018 budget. My question is, what percentage of the budget are you at right now? What percentage have you used?
Charlie?
I just want to note that in the past, there has been a board who has totally taken off
Public comment.
public comments from the agenda.
Right.
And we reinstated it because it was taken off totally from the agenda.
And I believe at that time, the rule was submit it in writing, and it will be answered. So again, I'm only asking for those complaints to be submitted in writing so that we're not blindsided. And we have time to prepare.
There's, as of the end of July, 52.36% left. And that includes paying the petition warrant articles.
Okay. Excellent. That's pretty good, Charlie. Any other thing, Jeanette?
One more thing, Fran, it's just a suggestion. I think you're going to be doing I believe you do the tax rate in September. My suggestion is, there's over $900,000 in the undesignated funds. And my suggestion would be to use a good portion of that to help lower the taxes. I know, everybody's been talking about how high the taxes are and how they can't afford the taxes, so I just would like to...
Well, that's always part of the discussion.
I would just like to put that out
Okay.
as a suggestion.
Certainly. Thank you.
That's good.
Any other? Yes, Amanda.
I just want to make the comment that I am aware of the 2 porta potties on the
Yes.
ball field. And it's Dave's Septic
Yeah.
in Manchester, New Hampshire.
I did call them today as
I
health
called them
officer.
too.
I called them as health officer and told them it was a health crisis,
Oh,
a
it
public
is.
health nuisance. And they assured me they would remove them as soon as possible. I
Well,
tried to nail them down,
Well,
but I couldn't get a
I
date.
called them last week as
Yeah.
well, and someone came today.
Oh, they did?
And Barney
That's it,
said
yeah.
someone came, but they didn't take them away. So,
I hope we're not being charged for them.
No, well,
Okay.
we're not. I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
we
this is
paid.
ridiculous
We
that they've left
did
it.
submit the bill.
Yeah.
And so I will call again tomorrow and tell the person on the phone that someone showed up but didn't take them.
Okay, what did they do? Just look and say, oh, they're there?
I didn't see it. I got an email from Ann that said
Okay.
someone did come
Yeah.
but drove off.
They
Craig,
have,
yes?
I know when I went down there to mow the last time, I kind of pushed it away a little bit, lifted
Yeah.
it up. It's
Oh, it's
all-
awful.
Well, no, underneath it's pretty much loam now, the grass is gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no reason they should have been
I
left
don't
more
know
than a
if
day or two. This
If it's
is,
their fault,
yeah.
or
Well, it's their fault.
maybe they should fix the grass.
Yeah, well, let us know when they're finally
So when you
removed, and
call
we
them
will,
and say, look, the grass is ruined.
Yeah,
underneath
definitely.
I'll be on the phone tomorrow morning and
Yeah.
I'll tell them.
Because that's definitely not coming back.
yeah, no, this is not good. So,
it's
thank
not.
you, Amanda, we'll keep on top of it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Anything else? Okay, we don't have any non-public to discuss tonight, so I will entertain a
Whoa.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff,
Um,